Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's show on the Toon Review as we look back at, yesterday's very disappointing defeat to Aston Villa, of course, at St James's Park. 2-0 it finished to Villa, and as the thumbnail says there, schooled by Emery. And that is a lot of people's opinions, certainly looking across the news and, of course, the fans on social media, etc. Listen, we'll get into it because I think a lot of people are just fed up with the way we're playing. You do get the usual. The usual people still sticking up and saying there's nothing and, there's nothing to worry about, etc. There clearly is. But anyway, welcome, Billy Trey.
Oh, good evening, Paul. Good evening to all the Toon Review Massive, the Magpie Massive, and the rest of you superb, outstanding, magical, marvellous people out there in Viewerland.
Now, as usual, if you do enjoy tonight's show, folks, make sure you smash that like button. And, of course, if you are new to the channel and you like what you see, we are heading towards 50k. We love your help to get there, so please do subscribe, completely free of charge. You can also become a member if you do so wish by hitting the join button underneath me and Billy. And, of course, super chats are available. That's the $sign under the live chat, and that guarantees your comment to be read out on the show as a thank you for obviously super chatting us. We already have a couple in. Ricky Thomas says, as always, everyone else making signings except us. Well, this season we'll pay the price for not doing so as we're a poorer side. Brian says, today's my 75th birthday, so I will send a Toon Review membership, which he has gone and done. Thank you very much, Brian, and
happy
a
birthday,
massive happy birthday to you indeed. Hope you've had a fantastic day, Brian, despite, of course, the result yesterday. Billy, there is obviously teams who are making signings. The comment just coming there, but Oscar Bob going to Fulham, 35 million quid. That's a bargain for me. Fantastic player. Eddie made a comment yesterday just saying that talking about the attack and things like that and saying that there's no point talking about this transfer window because it's not happening. Everything else to improve the squad will happen in the summer. I don't know whether he meant that as a defensive side as well, but now Dan Burns back, I have my doubts whether we're going to get anybody in this transfer window, which is a crime. It's an absolute crime given what's going on at the minute.
Yeah, maybe the owners of the hierarchy don't want to trust Eddie Howe with any more money.
That's the rumour going around. That's what's going around today, yeah.
Summer, a lot of money on, well, to my kind of opinion, one decent player, Howe. The rest, Volterman's a fantastic player, but will never fit the system that Eddie Howe wants to play.
No.
And nor is Eddie Howe flexible to allow him to play to a system where Nick wants to play in. Wiss is hit and miss at the minute. He's got a chance to maybe be good, but he's very inconsistent. He goes from fantastic on Wednesday to absolutely dog shit yesterday. And Ilanga's starting to look a little bit better, but still so far been disappointing. So
nowhere near still looking like a £55 million signing.
Well, if you're holding the purse, would you trust him with money? I'm not sure.
Well, somebody's just asked that question in the chat. Fergie, I think, asked that there in the chat. No, I don't trust him. I don't trust him at all.
And you think about all the great signings of before, all have been made with a decent director of football behind us. The exact came in with Ashworth and, Mandy Staveley was behind the Bruno move and big things like that.
And Gordon and things like that, yeah.
So, to me, it seems when Eddie's getting his own choice of players, apart from Chow.
Chris says here in the chat.
Hang on 1 second. Chow was scouted the year before by Mitchell, remember?
Yes.
It wasn't a house on and such. He just followed on and bought him. The rest of him, I don't know. He's just, I wouldn't trust him with any money, to be fair.
No. Chris says you cannot blame Howe for no signings coming in. That scenario was totally down to the DOF and the money men. Well, I'm sorry, Chris, but fair enough. That's what you think. But what my opinion of that is, I think that Eddie Howe has wasted millions upon millions of pounds in the summer. And maybe, as Billy said earlier on, the owners at the moment are not trusting Eddie with any more money because what's come in for the amount of money we've spent is absolute shite. I'll say it now. You spend that much money on players, you expect a return, a serious return on investment. And were they panic buys? I believe so. Listen, people can come out and say that we tracked Elanga for 2 years. We tracked who else did we track? Ramsey. look, there's better players out there, much better players. Okay? And the fact of the matter is, he's gone and spent, way overspent on these players. Do I think Voldemort is overspent on? I do. I think Voldemort is not worth 60-odd million pounds as it stands. He may become that player. We don't know that yet. But all the money he has spent, and remember, he was in full control of things in the summer. He bought these players in. And I'm sick to death of excuses and excuses and excuses coming from the manager and certain sections of the fan base who cannot open their eyes to see what is going on right in front of them at our football club. They are terrible footballers right now. You know, that yesterday we were completely schooled by a manager who knew exactly what he was doing. He knew his team at half-time could not keep up the way they were going because of the European game on the Thursday night, coming back from Turkey. He knew. So what he decides to do is, because he does his homework and he knows Newcastle United cannot break down a low block, that's exactly what he went to. He turned around and said, look, let Newcastle have the possession. They won't hurt us. And he was right, because we didn't test Martinez in the second half, not once. And it's all right having loads of possession and knocking it around sideways, but if there's nothing at the end of it, Billy, what is the point?
Well, it was interesting to hear Ollie Watkins speaking last night on the Match of the Day or Sky Sport. I can't remember. I was watching Match of the Day, so it couldn't have been that. But he said, we changed things today. We usually play in front of the team against us. But yesterday we decided to play behind them, and they didn't have an answer to it. And the manager didn't have an answer to it. So from the start, Emery's kind of threw a bit of a curveball in. Eddie Howe didn't see it. Yeah, and then they took the lead, despite us. I thought we played not as well in the first half again, but we created more chances, and that was because Villa were trying to score. Once they scored,
exactly.
Forget it. They just dropped into a low block. We had no idea of getting past them. Fast play on the counter attack. They look more dangerous than us, even though we were 1-down.
It was the usual, wasn't it? You know, we start off really well. Tonali could have put us a goal up. You know, I've looked at that a couple of times, and I know Martinez saved it, but a lot of pundits are saying that Tonali should have smashed the net with that from where he was. But Martinez saves it. But then again, we let Villa back into the game. They played some absolutely blinding stuff yesterday in that first half, Villa. We couldn't cope with the way they were passing the ball in that sort of 25 minutes of that first half. They were knocking it around. The first goal comes exactly from that. Buendia wins it, starts the move in the middle of the park. It's one-touch passing all the way down to Buendia again, and it's a fantastic finish, yes. But my God, Newcastle players were just running around looking in circles because we just couldn't find anything. But even when we're 1-0 down in that second half, Billy, you look to the manager to try and do something like Emery did at half-time, like what's-his-face did at Man United before he got sacked. I can't remember his name. It's gone. Amram, yeah. He outschooled Eddie at Old Trafford. By the way, he played because he knew Newcastle United have been completely worked out. And we as fans can see that, but yet the coaches and the manager can't. It's beyond a joke now. It really is. And yes, it will work for a couple of games. You know, these 4-3-3 tactics that Eddie sticks by to and swears to like a religion, it will work and we'll get a couple of results here and there. Not great performances, but results. But it only happens for a couple of games. And then all those cracks that were papered under come right back to the surface again. And that's exactly what's happened. The Premier League last two games have been absolute bull rot. Not being able to score against Wolves, and then yesterday we lose again. It's Baz Down Under says, "Are you serious? What are you talking about, Baz?" You know, yes, I'm serious.
Might be talking about something in the chat.
I mean,
we have no cutting edge ball. You know,
no, we don't. We don't
unless the team are really pushing and leave gaps at the back. We've got no cutting edge. Amram, he didn't park the bus for the first until he scored. Then he did, because he knew damn well that we weren't going to break down the low block. Because we haven't been able to do that since Eddie Howe was even here. I remember Crystal Palace coming to St James's Park. It was Isaac's second game. Totally nullified us. Bournemouth did it 2 or 3 times at St James's Park.
Yeah.
You know, teams that have got nothing, that are coming up for a point, generally at one point, if they defended properly, would get one, because we didn't have the creative skills to break them down. Unless we had magic moments from Isaac or some Maximan or people like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we haven't got an Isaac anymore.
The problem is, Billy, you make a good point there. We're trying to play exactly the same way as we did with Isak in the team. Exactly. And it doesn't work because Wissa and Voltemada are not Isak. As much as we hate Isak for what he did in the summer, he is a class apart from these two. And, you know, he knew exactly where to be. He could shoot outside the box. He could shoot inside the box. And he knew where to be for knockdowns and everything like that. But we do not play. You cannot play the same way because it's not the same player. And he's trying time after time and week after week to do the same thing, and it doesn't work. No. You know, there's just nothing from our strikers at the minute. I mean, Wissa gets a tap in here and there. Voltemada's gone off a cliff, but his confidence must be rock bottom right now, Voltemada's. Because his body language doesn't look right to me. He looks really unhappy. And, you know, Brian makes a very good point here. Look at what happened when Joe Linton went off at half-time. Eddie Howe was clueless. Emery would have been all over that like a rash, organising players and formations due to a player injured. But what does he do? He just replaces and tells Jacob Ramsey to go on and do the same as Joe Linton. It doesn't work. And I am... Look, people still come at me saying, oh, you're always negative. You're always negative. You know, it's called being truthful here. And if you don't want to accept what's going on the pitch and what's going on right in front of you, then that's fine. But the games we've got coming up, by the time February's finished, we could be well and truly in the bottom half of the Premier League.
Of course we could. Of course we could. And if the injuries keep building up and we keep performing to this manner, well, then we will be. And I can't see points. Well, maybe Saturday we might get one. Sorry, we've got Liverpool away, haven't we? So that's not going to be easy. Of course it ain't. We never do well at Liverpool, but I mean, having said that, Liverpool are not playing to their best at the minute. But anyhow, you know, after Paris Saint-Germain on Wednesday, what kind of state are we going to be in? You know, it's like it's depressing thinking about it. To be honest,
people don't seem to want to accept the truth, though, Billy. They keep going and saying, "Oh, look what Eddie's done! Look what Eddie's done!" Absolutely, look what Eddie's done. He'll always be a legend for what he's done. But this is the now and the future. And the now is that we have regressed so much.
Well, he hasn't evolved, does he? He's still doing the same thing.
No, absolutely not. Definitely not. He's not evolved at all. But he can't keep getting away with it, Billy. He cannot keep getting away with it. Enough's enough. If he's not willing to change, and I don't know why that is. I don't know why he doesn't want to evolve. Is he too stubborn? Has he got a bit of arrogance about him? I don't know.
I don't think he'll go anywhere before the summer, though. Do you know why? Because I think the people in the upper echelons of the club are kind of depending on the FA to come in and pay some compensation money for him. That's what I think.
Yeah, if Tuchel leaves the England job, but absolutely. But that's a massive risk, isn't it? Because we could end up with no European football next season and losing players, because you can get all the players in the world coming out and saying, I love this football club, I can't wait to stay, and I love the fans. But if a bigger team comes in where they've got opportunities to actually win things and get bigger money, whatever it may be, they will go. If there's no European football and we're not challenging Europe's elite, they don't want to know. And you can't blame them for that, because they've been promised something at Newcastle. And look, the players need to take some of the blame as well. They're not performing, some of them. But it seems to me that when, we get the ball from 20 yards out, we're not shooting, right? We're not shooting at all. We're going sideways all the time. And then when crosses come in, there's nobody in the box to receive the cross. Now, who instructs the team to play like that? That's the manager.
It is. Yeah, and that's his system. That's the way he plays. He tries to play the press with Nick Voltemada as a centre forward. He's just not got the speed to do it, or the stamina. You've got to have pace to do that. I mean, he wasn't the quickest in the world, but he was a lot quicker than bloody Voltemada is. And he was lazy with it. But when we were having a proper press with Gordon and Miggy at the time, he was in on it. So unfortunately the players that we've lost have been replaced with players that can't do the same kind of stuff that they did. And Eddie's not changed the style of play, which is, to me, ridiculous. You mean you bought a player like £69 million like Voltemada, with all the skills in the world, an awkward man to mark. He's 6'7", but at the same time he's got all the skills in the world. Voltemada doesn't press more than he's at to before. because he ain't quick enough. He gets nowhere near it.
No,
he's got all the skills in the world. Build a team around him. Get people around him.
Play to his strengths, Billy.
Well, make little flicks, mate. With people around him, they'll go to someone. But we don't. We've got two wingers who hold the lines, and that's fine if you've got someone in the middle that will get an end across and score. But we haven't. So it's just undercomplicating things. He's trying to play the same way as he has done for 4 years. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
never going to work.
It doesn't. By the way, just to let you know, you've got around just over 10 minutes to get your player ratings in, guys. The link is pinned in the chat, so please get your player ratings in so we can cover them in the second half of the show. Of course, really looking forward to doing the player ratings tonight to see what crops up. To be honest, couple more super chats in. Ricky says, "What the fuck do the happy clappers watch? We're in the shit. It's fact." Look, we're still 9th now. Right, it could have been so much better, but eventually, I'll tell you now, right? You can clip this all you want, but the Premier League, there will be a breakaway at some point. The top 6 or 7 will break away. The bottom lot will break away as well, and we'll be left in that middle league, if you like, and that's not where we want to be. It can't be where we'd be. Hopkinson talks about, being this 5-year plan. Well, I'm sorry, if we don't get European football, whatever European football next season, that 5-year plan goes back. It's going backwards. Because we can't, for revenue, for all of this, to bring in the top players, you have to be in Europe's elite competitions. And if you're not, you will not attract the quality. Greg Wheeler, member for 8 months. Thank you, Greg. Personally, in my opinion, Tonali has had his best game of the season yesterday, then gets subbed for Willock for the sake of 10, 15 minutes. What the fuck? I like coffee. Yeah. We neither have a team that wins or one that tries. I think we try, but they're trying. The difference is they are trying, but they're playing out what the manager's asked them to do. The tactics and what he has instructed the players to do. So they are trying, but what Eddie Howe has instructed them to do clearly doesn't work. And all us as fans can see it. It's mental. Jens says, I love Howe. However, I've had enough of him now. He can't switch 98% of the time. Why no sub at half time? Why not try 2 at the front? It's shocking. Knight says, honestly think Howe is off in the summer. That's why we're not signing anyone, as a new manager will want his own signings. Apparently Wisser can't be found. He missed the tunnel when he came off. Jared says, we're no longer entertaining to watch. We rely too much on opposition mistakes to score. Lack flair, and we don't have a specialist set-piece taker. Ulf, thank you for your super sticker. Very kind, my man. Chipper says, do you think we are getting more embarrassing in the Premier League to watch? Because I do. I think people switch off, mate. I think we're boring. Boring and predictable. It's
great until we get to the last third of the field. Then you think, oh, we ain't going nowhere. Sometimes you even think, thank God, go backwards, might play a bit of football then. But it's trying to play tiki-taka. It don't work. Villa did it yesterday, and that's how the first goal went in. Brilliant piece of football, but I mean, we just go from the same place over and over again. It's so depressingly boring, tedious, boring.
Yeah, nobody takes a pop on goal. I mean,
that was it. Again,
just
2 minutes
crazy.
before they scored, Lewis Hall had a chance to blast one in the corner of the box. Left foot, didn't do it. Played it 2 yards left to Gordon. They weren't going to score from a 20-yard shot.
Absolutely. Look, somebody made a good point last night. I can't remember who I was watching, but they were talking about Eddie Howe and this Anthony Gordon thing on the left-hand side. How many games running now has he took Anthony Gordon off and put Barnes back on the left?
It was about 4 or 5, isn't it?
So why has that not clicked with Eddie Howe yet, that Barnes needs to be on the left? It's ridiculous.
I think he's thinking he's getting the best of both. I think Howe rates Anthony Gordon more than Barnes.
Yeah, I do.
You've always said that. Yeah. To a certain extent, I can understand why he thinks that, but it's besides the moment in time, it's wrong to think that.
Yeah. Ian says in a recent presser, Eddie Howe said, why have a plan B, which means plan A hasn't worked. So we would rather work harder to make plan A work. Worrying. Yeah, I remember when he said that. I do remember. He doesn't have a plan B. John says, my biggest issue is the way we drop off after the first 10 minutes. It has to be tactical because it happens every game. John wants Eddie out. Peter says, do you think Eddie didn't want Voltemada and is being forced to play him to try to get Europe? Would you get rid of Eddie now?
Of course he wanted him. He's the one that made the signings, Peter. There's no domestic football there at the time. Yeah. He made him and his fucking nephew, whatever he is, without even watching him, but look at things.
Yeah, it was him and his, is it his nephew? Or, and I mean, look, of course he wanted them. The players that he brought in were exactly the players that he wanted. You know, we talk about obviously missing out on Šeško and the rest of them, which we did, but that was because we were often nowhere near the money that they would get at other clubs because we couldn't compete. And that's at the end of the day, that's what that boiled down to. Because you can't tell me Šeško went to Man United for the pull of the money and Mbeumo went for the pull of the club, because the club's in dire shit. It's getting better. Well, I'm not saying it's getting better, but they've had 2 brilliant results in the last 2 games under Michael Carrick. But it wasn't at the time. They were literally scrap metal, and they were offered extortionate wages and stuff. We know why the players didn't come to Newcastle. Because and as well, all you read when you hear about Newcastle is looking for a cut price deal. Newcastle went in looking for a cut price deal. So many reports always say that the cut price deals are what Newcastle United are looking for. We're not going to get fucking cut price deals if we're going for the big elite players.
No. And in the end, they end up paying over the odds as well, so it makes no fucking difference. You're not paying the fucking asking price at the start, aren't you? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, look, Miley's header yesterday, that goes in. I mean, Eddie claimed that, you know, had Tonali's shot went in, it could have been a different game. It's all ifs and buts with Eddie Howe. That's the problem. It's all ifs and buts. Nick Thornton says, keep the clown and nephew away from all transfers. We'll hear from Eddie Howe. This is what he said to NUFC TV after the game.
Yeah, disappointing. Disappointed to lose. I thought it was a mixed performance from us. I thought there was a lot of good. There's also some not so good, especially from an attacking perspective around their box. I thought our final ball was off today. It was disappointing. We've got some outstanding technical players, crossers especially, and just didn't have our crossing boots on. I thought the second half we were better than we were first. First half was difficult for us, but I thought we improved as it went on until they scored the second goal, which really seemed to take the wind out of us.
How big of a blow was it falling behind, given, like you say, it was a strong start, strong opening 10 minutes from the team?
Yeah, I thought the intention was there. I thought the effort was there, the energy was there. They scored a really good long-range strike from their viewpoint. We're disappointed with it. We felt we could have defended it better. Sandro, of course, has the big moment right at the start of the game, which he does really well to dance his way through, and then goalkeeper makes a magnificent save. I just felt that it wouldn't go in for us today. We've had similar feelings in other games this season, so it's certainly something that we're not used to. We've always been free scoring. There's been challenges for us in that respect, I think, this year, and something we need to continue to focus on.
Right. Didn't have our crossing boots on. How many fucking crosses came into that box yesterday? Brilliant crosses, by the way. Miley put a few in. Barnes put a few in. Gordon put a few in. What is he fucking seeing? What is he seeing that we're not? Because I don't understand that, Billy. We didn't have our crossing boots on. There was nobody in the fucking box to score the crosses.
I think the telling thing is when he said we were better second half. Well, we weren't at all. Villa allowed us to play in 2/3 of the pitch.
Of course they did.
And he thinks that's good. He thinks that's better. First half, we created chances. Second half, we had no shots on target. So to me, first half was better. Never looked like scoring second half. Never looked like scoring second half.
What is he seeing, Billy? What is he seeing that we as fans are all seeing? And I think the majority of the chat tonight is very much with us. You know how you get a few saying, "Oh, you're negative this." There's hundreds of people in the chat tonight agreeing, because it's just mental. I mean, I know 2 of Gordon's left foot crosses, they went out, right? They went out for a goal kick. But he put 2 on his right. I think obviously one for Miley and the one for Wissa, which Wissa's was a powder puff header again. Barnes put a couple in. Miley's crossing was superb yesterday. First time balls in the area. And then how many times did we point out in commentary that the strikers and everybody else are just jogging the way on the 18-yard line?
Yeah, but it's predictable. You cut the crosses out. How are we going to score?
Mm.
If you've got two good fullbacks who won't allow crosses in, how are we going to score? Well, we don't score when we put crosses in, so we've got no chance without them. We need to have something in the middle of the park as well to hit the channels. Allow your striker to do something magical, but we just don't do it. We're so predictable, so easy to play against.
The thing is, right? You watch us play, and if you're an opposition manager, right, like Emery did yesterday, you watch Newcastle, you study them getting ready for the game, right, and then you know that during the game you can adjust things to make it difficult for Newcastle United. I'm sure that Emery told Villa yesterday, get a goal ahead, get a couple of goals in that first half. And then...
And then, the same at Villa Park in the Cup as well.
Well, I'm not even looking to that, Billy, because that's...
Unless we score first against Villa at Villa Park, forget it. Forget it.
I mean, the thing is, Voltemade, for a 6'7" guy, is a terrible header of the ball. He is terrible. I don't know why he can't head a ball at his height. And it just baffles me that we've got a manager who sits there and won't change anything. We're 1-0 down in the second half. Why not try two up top? Maybe just for 10, 15 minutes. Try and get an equaliser. Get back in the game. Because if you get an equaliser, we know what goals do to this team, as we saw on Wednesday. A couple of goals, the confidence is up, the flying, the passing, the confident. It's everything we want to see. But
I agree with some people in the chat. I'd have brought Sulu on as well as Voltemade. Or I'd have brought Sulu on first. And then with Wissa, then playing with Voltemade.
Right.
He's something different, isn't he, Sula? You've got to do something different to kind of, try and confuse the manager you're playing against. Because yesterday, he sat there with a cigar, Bloody Emery did. He knew exactly what was going to go on.
Yeah. Right. I'm putting a poll up, and you know what the poll's going to be? There's loads of people asking me to do it in the chat, but this time, it's yes or no. There's no on the fence here. It's a yes or a no. Are you still Eddie in, or are you Eddie out? Because quite frankly, I'm sick of the fucking fence. Because the way it's just, the fence has collapsed. It's either one or the other. So there you go. The poll is up now. Oh, no, it doesn't. I've just made a fucking mistake. 2 seconds. Bollocks to that. Take that out of there.
You're on about Voltemade not going to head it. Dan Burns, 6'6". He can't head it either. He never goes in the direction he wants it to, apart from the odd occasion, like Wembley, for instance.
Yeah. Right, the poll is up. Get voting, guys. Are you Eddie in or Eddie out? And we'll review that at the end of the show. You've got half an hour to get your votes in for that. Look, I love what Eddie Howe's done for this football club, but I think you get to a point where, as a fan, you're wondering what's coming next. You're trying to see what is coming next. And the road ahead of us in the next 8 games, holy shit, is the only thing I can say to that, the way we're playing at the minute. Now, yes, some people will say, well, it's Newcastle United. We could go and get a result at Anfield. We can go and get a result in Paris, all of this. But let's be honest, the way we're playing right now, I don't think there's a cat and hell's chance we get a result in Paris, right? And Liverpool, I mean, look, we never play well at Anfield, to be fair. It'll be a miracle if we get a result there, because it doesn't matter whether Liverpool are playing badly or not. We're playing worse. Our away form is dreadful. Right? And if we can't score a goal at home against Wolves, what makes people think we're going to go to Anfield and score goals there? There's just something has to give here. And if Eddie wants to maintain his job, he's got to try and change things. He's got just a different formation or to try something different in game. That's all we're asking for as fans. I mean, I'm not wrong to ask that, surely.
If he went, when he was out of work and he went around Europe looking at all the top coaches, did they all play 4-3-3? I mean, no. Of course they didn't. So surely he's took some of this on board and he's able to do, but he just seems incapable of running a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2, if you like, or whatever, something different. The only two he's confident with is the 4-3-3, which he thinks is ultra attacking, and the 5 at the back. or the 4-5-1, which is obviously very negative. And you'll see that Wednesday. You can guarantee it.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to see some excitement, because where's this lovely fast-flowing attacking football that Eddie said he would always play? He said that in interviews, that he goes to games to win. We don't go into games to win anymore. I can't be convinced of that. Eddie's first instinct in a game now is not to lose.
Well, Leeds
It's
away
as simple as
told us
that.
didn't it?
Sorry, mate?
Leeds away told us that. Sunderland away told us it to a certain extent.
Yeah. He's setting up not to lose games. And that's what's making us awful. And, yes, the players are not, some of the players are not at it. But, Tonali, I thought he was good yesterday, Tonali. I thought he worked his ass off in Bruno's absence. But at the same time...
He did some fucking awful things and all, though.
He did. But I'm trying to put some positives in this show, Billy. Otherwise, I'll get lynched by the clapping mob.
There ain't any positives for me. The only positive for me is Nick Pope. He's the only one.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Pope. Listen, this is the thing yesterday, right? People came at me and were saying, we could have been 2-1 up at half-time. And I'm kind of baffled, because I'm thinking, you clearly watch the same game that Eddie Howe watches, because you're not taking into consideration the amount of chances that Villa missed. Because Buendia had a shot which was well saved by Pope. Ollie Watkins was clean through, brilliant save by Nick Pope with his left foot. Then Nick Pope rescues us again when the ball is played in behind Malik Chow and Matson's running onto it. If Nick Pope wasn't aware of that, Matson had a clear run on goal. So there's at least 3. So Villa could have scored 4 or 5 in the first half if you want to do that comparison. And then we didn't even get a shot on target in the second half. It's absolute crazy. Absolute crazy. I'm at my wit's end, Billy, because, we are sitting watching these games, commentating on them, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? We all can see. And I think the people in the stands, there was complaints yesterday that a lot of fans left at 2-0 and disappeared. I don't blame them. They're not fair weather supporters just because they left when we went 2-0 down. Do you want to think that we were going to come back when they got their second goal? There was no cat in hell's fucking chance. No. So I don't blame people for leaving yesterday. And maybe people leaving might give a message to the fucking Howe and the owners that they want to pull the fucking fingers out because we're getting fed up of it. That's why people are leaving the ground. Honestly, there's an excuse. These blinking people make excuses up consistently. And I put some clips on TikTok from the watch along yesterday, Billy. And then, there's comments from some people saying, these guys, all they do is negativity. All they do is whinge on about the way we're playing. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to just say, yeah, it's another defeat. It's another game we don't score when we've had loads of possession. We've got no cutting edge. But hey, let's go and smell the fucking roses, shall we? Because everything's fucking fine. No, it's not.
Eddie will leave us for great memories. He's got a legacy, and that'll never go.
He has. Yes.
Unfortunately, he's souring it at this last moment in time.
Yeah.
He's souring it. And it's hard to kind of get up for game with us playing now because he's so boring. Negative, boring, one-dimensional, like someone said there. No plan B. It's tough to take.
And I tell you what.
A year ago, we were top of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Quite to win a cup. Yeah, it's not good. It's come to the end of his tether now for me. And
this bullshit narrative, money in the bank, credit in the bank, I'm sick of fucking hearing that now. Because it does not stand still. Football is a game that does not stand still, right? And like you said, Billy, Eddie's got a legacy, right? He's done magnificent things at this football club, which he will never be forgotten for. No. But it doesn't stand still. There's no sentimentality in football, right? Look at the amount of money Arne Slot has spent, right? He spent half a billion almost at Liverpool in the summer, right? Mm-hmm. But the fans aren't aiming their anger at the players. They're aiming at the manager for the way he's setting up and playing some of these players certain ways. It's just the same. You know, but football is a cutthroat business if you're a manager, because if the team doesn't play well, it falls on the manager, not the players.
Claudio Ranieri won the league at Leicester, who sacked for him.
Well, yeah, there's a perfect example. Perfect example. A few super chats. We've got one from, I think I've read that one. Nick says, sadly, crosses are the only weapon we have. I can assure you that if we reach the quarterfinals in the Champions League and go out fighting, Howe 100% stays. I don't want that, but it'll probably happen. But the Champions League is very different to the Premier League. And you look back at the PSV win. PSV flying at the top of the Eredivisie, okay? However, the Eredivisie is not one of the top 5 leagues in Europe. It's not classed as a top 5 league. So just like the Belgian league, you know, we played USG, who were top of their league. We absolutely battered them. We battered PSV, right? It means shit. It means shit. It doesn't mean we've turned a corner. The Champions League is very different. And you bet your bottom dollar, you'll see a very different Paris Saint-Germain against Newcastle United this week. It won't be PSV or USG or whoever it may be. It's a very, very different game. And then in the latter stages, if we get through to the knockout stages, then you see the real elite. So don't start counting chickens about Champions Leagues and stuff. Because if something goes wrong in the Champions League, do you think Eddie Howe has the ability to turn it around in game?
Absolutely not.
Because he'll do the same thing, Billy. He'll like for like.
Well, yeah, he will, but he'll put players that shouldn't be playing in his positions. It'll be like for like, but with the players that play in that position, like he did in Dortmund a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was outrageous to watch.
Well, Ryan says, how not dumb, is ego too big to make changes? Peter Garthwaite says, do you think Eddie ever studies the opposition? Yes, he does. We know he does. He's got about 25 whiteboards around his office studying the opposition. But he believes so much in his philosophy that he's kind of blinkered, I guess, to anything else. He wants to prove that his way of playing is right. And I don't know whether that's arrogance or what. I don't know. I don't know him personally. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. But we as fans, we see things. We've watched football long enough. And you don't have to be a qualified coach or a manager to see what's going on the pitch.
Well, his 25 whiteboards yesterday didn't have Villa playing in behind us. Of course it didn't. And once they started doing that, he had no answer to it. Because his 25 whiteboards had them playing in front of us.
Exactly. Six Stop says, Carrick's a Geordie and a boyhood fan. Get him in. Spike says, how is one-dimensional? Nick says, we are Bournemouth 2.0. He's hit his ceiling, and the PSG game could be embarrassing for us. Look,
let's not forget they've got a bit of revenge to have on us and all, because they didn't get it in the 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
We humiliated them to St James Park. I'm sure Luis Enrique will have a bit of revenge on his mind, especially coming to the game with the injuries we've got and the form we're in. He'll want to smash us. Yeah.
I mean, look, I want Eddie to be successful. I do. But at the minute, the way I'm sitting, I'm sick of the same shit now. It's not like it's early doors either in the season. And people keep saying, oh, it'll come good. We're into nearly the end of January, and it ain't come good. It's exactly the same. I just can't understand why people are making excuses. You are allowed to criticize. And right now, nobody can tell me that there was any good in the game yesterday, apart from a couple of saves Martinez made in the first half. That was it. We got nothing else. And then you've got the manager saying what he did at the end of the game, talking absolute nonsense, saying we didn't have our crossing boots on. When we all saw how many crosses we put in yesterday, the fact is there was no black and white shirts in the box to fucking finish them. Oh, dear me, honestly. Buff, just to make the week better, Pawson is on VAR for Saturday night. Oh, fantabulous. Spike says, thank you, Eddie, for everything, but it's time to go. And there's nothing wrong with that from Spike, Billy. You know, thank you for what you've done. Thank you for stabilising us and getting us back to where we belong. But now it's somebody else. It's somebody else's turn to take the good work that Eddie's done to the next level. You know what I mean? Like, Eddie's done brilliantly, but now it's somebody that is more elite than Eddie in a way to continue the good work and then climb us even further, if you like.
Well, people are saying bring in Jose to steady the ship. The ship doesn't need steadying. We've got the players. We know we've got the players. We need a manager that can put them players in the right system so they can thrive. And at the moment, our manager can't do that. It's quite simple. It's not hard.
Well, perhaps Jose could, Billy, because he's good at that. But look, that's a conversation.
If we moan about Eddie being too negative, I don't think we're going to wear Joe's.
No. But look, another manager's a conversation for another day. Eddie's in charge at the minute, and we're allowed to be critical.
Correct.
We'll do the player ratings in a second. I Like Coffee says we would break our Champions League record for heaviest defeat against PSG. Way to be confident, matey. Bruno's Magic Hat says it's starting to feel like I'm watching Southgate football. Eddie is an elite coach, but an average manager. It's not that he won't change. He doesn't know how to. I can't watch this wide play anymore. I mean, if he's an elite coach, then surely he'd be able to spot what's going on the pitch.
And if you watch,
I don't know.
A lot of the teams at the minute, a lot of the teams aren't even playing with wingers now. I mean, Man United just picked up that 4-2-2-2-2 system.
Yeah,
and
they did.
And it beat Arsenal. They beat Man City the week before.
Brian Penny will do our PSG score predictions tomorrow when we preview the game.
I've got my calculator working.
Yeah, I'll bring me crucifix and everything for that. So we will get that done. Right, let's take a look at the player rating show. I should have got this ready before the show, but I've been naughty and ballsed it up again. So just bear with us, guys. Click that, then we'll go to that one. You love me little talk throughs, don't you, Billy?
Yeah, I think they're great.
Right, and then down to there. Okay, right. Let's start off with Nick Pope, Billy.
Well, if it weren't for him, I think we'd have lost by a heavy margin.
Yeah, I do. I agree.
Can't blame him for the goals. I'll give him a 7.5.
So I've gone 8. I've given him an 8, Billy, because I thought he made some really crucial saves, especially the first half, which kept us in it. Because, we could have scored 2 at the other end had Martinez not saved. But the goalkeepers were the difference in the first half, because it could have been literally 4 or 5-2 to Villa at half-time. Had the keepers not been there. I just thought Nick's awareness was fantastic yesterday, coming for crosses and things like that. He was the star for me yesterday. He really was. Anyway, the viewers. 6.6.
Tough crowd. Wow.
I'm staggered. I'm absolutely staggered by that one.
If anyone gets higher marks than him in the averages, you lot are mental.
6.6 for Nick Pope.
Well,
I tell you what, I'm staggered by that, Billy. I really am.
Oh, yeah.
Although a defeat, people are not going to score highly. Steve says how
7.5, to be honest.
Yeah. Howe relied on Isak too much for results. Now he's gone. Howe doesn't know how to get results, and it's shown. If things don't start to look up, things will get toxic for Eddie, but we don't want that. We'd rather him go out with his head held high and not forced out. That's the whole thing, Billy. We don't want this legacy to be sort of salted in a way by, the fans getting a bit fed up now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't want it to turn nasty. I don't want it to turn nasty.
I don't want it to tarnish, and to a certain extent, it what he is, but I don't want him getting booed and how out and all that stuff. Absolutely, he doesn't deserve that. There was boos at the end of the game yesterday, and rightly so. Fans pay a lot of money to go and watch this, and it's not entertaining right now at all. Yeah, but I mean, boos ain't just for the manager and like Steve.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I don't want it to turn sour. Thing is, if not how, realistically who? Well, that's, like I say, a conversation for another day. We'll discuss that if we need to. Warren says, we need a good shake-up. Time to be ruthless, folks. Toon says, Eddie's stubbornness and complete lack of imagination to change things has made us predictable, stale and boring. He hasn't got another level. I'm out. Dave Magpie, think I need to watch Sunderland till I die to cheer me up after yesterday. Could do with a good laugh. Len says, did you notice how Emery was giving his instructions standing from his box continually throughout the whole game? Yep. And Eddie writes on a notepad. Mark Mullen says, what really pisses me off at the minute is no one takes a bloody shot from outside the box. Why? It confuses me how every other bloody team does it, bar us. Exactly. And I will never understand that. You know, and Eddie even talks about it in his press conference, how good Tonali is at shooting, how good other players are, that have got rocket shots. Well, let's fucking see it. Olasola says, agreed, Eddie doesn't take risks. I keep reminding us to look at how long it has taken clubs like Arsenal and City to get to the top. This same team hammered PSV. Can we just accept Villa was better?
Yeah, but that's what you took in one game, Olasola.
Olasola, yeah.
I think the rest of the games this year we've been shot in.
Eddie's got to take risks. Other managers take risks. Why not Eddie? Especially when you're 1-0 down or you're 0-0 with the plumb bottom of the table side, Wolves. Take a fucking risk. Martin says, I don't rule out us beating PSG. That makes it worse. Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
You're very optimistic, mate.
Yeah. Right. Next up is Kieran Trippier. Listen, I've got 4.5 written down here, Billy. I've got a 4.5. I don't think Trippier was good yesterday. It's time. His time's been and gone. I mean, we've said that a few times already this season. I think, given that, he ignores people making runs. He ignores them. You know, Gordon making runs, Elanga making runs, the right wingers, even Joe Linton in the first half making runs down the right. He's just not giving them the ball. He's always get the ball, little pass inside or little pass back to Malik Chow. He doesn't cross the ball. Not for me. 4.5, Billy.
I think he thinks that he's too cultured at football, and he might be right in some respects. To play the down the line pass that everyone plays at school, but it's so easy to do. And the runs that Elanga made and Barnes made yesterday, we were crying out for it. Rarely plays them because it's too easy a pass. I mean,
but how many times as well, Billy? You mentioned about forward passing made. How many times did we say in commentary that Wissa had made some good runs, but by the time they see him, it's too late because he's offside. He's making the runs that we want him to, but he doesn't get the ball.
I don't think he played with his head down as such, because of course he was at one time a world class right back. But he looks every one of his 35 years is plus moment in time. He's got to play because we've got no one else. But I mean, I do worry about Wednesday. I think 4.
4. Okay. Viewers went with a 5. Bang on a 5 for Kieran Trippier from the viewers. Next up, Billy, we have Malik Chow.
Well, he made a few mistakes, but he also saved us on a couple of occasions. 5.5.
I mean, that tackle, was it on Watkins when he was through? I can't remember who it was.
Bailey, I think it was.
Bailey, yes, sorry, Billy, yeah.
I'll give him a 5.5. I thought.
I'll give him a 6. I thought, the tackles that he made were very important. Yes, he lost the ball a couple of times, but to be honest, I mean, he wasn't getting any support. Nobody was coming back and nobody was moving to pass the ball around. It was very stale. And it's very difficult if you're a centre-back to bring the ball out and then you look up to try and pass it and there's no fucking moving. I mean, what are you supposed to do? I thought his defending was okay. So 6 for me. And the viewers have gone with a 6.4 for Malik Chow. So a 6.4. Next up, we have Sven Botman. I thought Botman was good yesterday, Billy. I thought Botman was a lot better than what I've seen him. He cleared lots of balls into the box yesterday, got his head behind everything, made some good blocks. Not outstanding, don't get me wrong. There wasn't an outstanding performance yesterday, but I thought he was okay. I'll give him a 7.
I thought he should have got out to try and block the shot of the.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah.
I think he should have been sharp and come out and try to block that. 1 or 2 mistakes. Did he get done in the box by Watkins or was that Chow?
That was Chow. Yeah.
But where was he? I mean, where was Botman then? What happened? I'll give him a 6.
6. Viewers have gone with a 6.7. So right in between us there, Billy. Right in between us. A couple more super chats. Spikes is trying to walk the ball into the net. Well, you've been saying that for weeks, Billy.
Doing that for season, to be fair.
Yeah. Peter says the only way PIF sack Eddie is if it turns toxic. I don't think they will. I think he's until at least the end of the season. I genuinely believe that.
When there's a chance of compensation coming, they're not going to sack him, I think.
True. Okay, up next, Lewis Hall.
I think that might have been his worst game in the Newcastle shirt. And he was trying. You couldn't fault his effort, but I thought they did pretty well against him, to be honest. I think Villa kind of isolated him and did pretty well. I'll give him a 4.5.
We've got a happy clapper, guys. And I'm going to call you out, Linda, because pathetic. Great rage baiter, Paul. It's all about the clicks. As usual, aggressive rants, no analysis. Back up what you say, or back up what you say, whatever you spelt it wrong. I was at the game, and the boos during and after the game were for the officials. No, they weren't at the end of the game, Linda, right? They were aimed at the team because they were shit. And if you can't accept that, and you were even at the game, so what game were you watching? And I'm a rage baiter. We don't have nearly 50,000 subscribers, Linda, because we're rage baiting. We're honest and we're passionate, Linda.
Just come back again.
See? Well, let me see. You say this episode is not about the suitability of the manager, yet your poll is Eddie in or out. Massacre. Well, Linda, I don't normally swear at women, but please do fuck off. If you're not happy with what you're watching, go and watch somebody else. Go and watch a Happy Clapper channel where everything's rosy in the garden and you clap like seals. Dear me. Get lost, will you? For God's sake.
The chat asked. The chat asked to put a poll up.
Exactly.
We're just doing what the chat wanted us to do.
Of course you would call me out because I don't agree. I can't accept it as it wasn't true. Well,
it wasn't true in your eyes. That's your opinion, Linda. And you've entitled to it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Dear me. Anyway, let's move on with the player ratings. I'm sure Linda will be annoyed with all these viewers' player ratings as well, guys. She'll be fuming at you. Fuming. Lewis Miley. I thought Lewis did. Did I do Lewis Hall?
I don't think you did.
Oh, no. Okay. I scored Lewis Hall. I scored him a 6.5. Viewers have gone with a 6.8 for Lewis Hall. So he scored more than Nick Pope. So at the moment, Lewis Hall has the highest rating of the lot. Right. Lewis Miley. Right. I thought Lewis Miley did okay yesterday. I didn't see anything wrong with his game. You know what it is? The thing is with Lewis Miley, what I thought was really good about it, by the way, was you mentioned at the start of the commentary, Billy, you were worried in case Lewis Miley didn't get forward enough. And you wanted to see him get forward. And I think he did that. I think he got forward. He got into, he's making them runs from midfield. He was whipping the crosses in brilliantly. That's what I loved it. That's why I absolutely loved Lewis Miley's game yesterday. It's just a shame nobody was on the end of them. So I'm going to give Lewis Miley a 7.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give him a 7 as well.
Yeah.
What did they give Pope? 7.5. I
think so, yeah.
Yeah, I'll give Miley a 7 because of the outfield players, I thought it was our best one.
Yeah. Viewers for Miley is a 7. So there you go. Lewis Miley is the highest rated player now. Interesting. Okay, next up on the player ratings we have Sandro Tonali, Billy.
Well, the bit of play that got him in for that shot was absolutely outstanding. Unfortunately, the finish wasn't quite as good, and it was a great save from Martinez. He did some really good stuff yesterday, but at the same time, he did some absolutely awful stuff.
Yeah. He had a weird game, didn't he?
What was that bit when he fell over and he wouldn't get up, despite him fanning around on the floor?
He claimed he was fouled, didn't he? And then we were defending for about 30 seconds after that, and Tonali wouldn't get up, and he wasn't even injured.
Yeah, and then he did.
And then he did and ran around like he wasn't hurt. So I was really annoyed with him when he did that.
And quite rightly, it was disgusting. 6.
Mind you, by the way, that's not to say that Villa didn't have
their own. They were shocking as well, but
that Martinez one was just disgraceful, really. And even did you see Conser when he went down? Conser looked away and thought, "You fucking idiot," because he wanted him to take a quick throw in because it would have put Villa on the break.
I'm going to give Tonali a 6.
Yeah, I've gone 5.5, Billy. Similar to you, I think he did some decent things. And I think he was slightly better than average yesterday. So 5.5 for me. The viewers, 6.5 for Tonali. So they rated his performance yesterday. Hall coming back from injury looks spent. Murphy on the bench. Hall needs a break. If not, he will be out injured again. Well, you know who's going to come back in at left back? It certainly won't be Alex Murphy. Dan Burns fit again, guys.
Yeah, maybe I'll put him up against Barcode on Wednesday.
Yeah. Why not?
Might not even be a joke. That could actually be.
Yes, Billy. Let's move on. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Next up is Joe Linton. I thought Joe Linton was good in the first half, I have to say. He looked really up for the game yesterday again. It is a real shame that his groin is not holding out. I'm worried about how long we're going to be missing Joe Linton for, because a groin issue, that's not really a game, is it? One game missing. That could be a couple of weeks out for Joe Linton. And the way he's been playing, when he's been back to full fitness, has been absolutely outstanding. And I've loved what Joe Linton's been doing. But now he's injured, I've got to worry. But I'll go with a 6.5 for Joe.
I mean, he's overplayed. He's overplayed him again, isn't he? You know, players that are coming back from injury, and it's the same with Liverpool, and it's the same with Sven Botman. Don't be surprised if these people get injuries in the next 2 or 3 games, because they've been every single week playing 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I know it's hard to rotate with Botman because he's only centre half at the minute, but Joe Linton could certainly have had a bit of a rest, and he hasn't. He's played constant. 6.5, yeah, I think that's fair. I think he had a fair first half. When he went in at half time, I mean, he must have gone in with a knock because he obviously come out and tried to win off. Couldn't do it.
Viewers have gone 6.5 for Joe Linton. So, I mean, we missed him second half, no doubt about it. Ruffy Benisian, one of our mods as well, says, I was in the Gallagher first time. I heard constant screams at the poor performance, tactics, and even Eddie all around me. It's beginning to turn. And he's not the first one that has said that. The guys that I sit with have all said that as well. It's turning. It's turning, and we don't want it to turn. That's the problem. We want it to, remember Eddie for all the good things, and we don't want anything turning toxic. But you can't help that if performances are like they are. Next up, Billy Harvey Barnes.
I'm disappointed with him yesterday, I've got to say. Got frustrated at times. The referee did him no favours. I mean, there's one occasion where I think it was Paul Tully just slid through from behind him. He's got the ball after he crippled Harvey Barnes. No free kick, nothing. They went to the end with an attack. He was frustrated, but he didn't really do a lot. I'll give him a 4.5.
I've gone a 5 for Barnes. I thought he was very, very quiet. Certainly the first, I don't know how long, Billy, that first half, he was really quiet. But put him on the left.
That's how tricky behind you.
Well, it is. It's very difficult. He's never getting the ball. But then he goes to the left and suddenly he comes alive. And that should be, it should be right in front of Eddie's face now. Just saying, right, he's so much more gifted on the left. Spike has gifted a Toon Review membership. Thank you very much, Spike. Much appreciated. The viewers have gone for a 6 for Barnes. What were you saying about a tough crowd, Billy?
Well, certain players are favourites at the minute, and I think sometimes past performances do kind of dull the scores or improve the scores.
Next up is Johan Wisser. What did Wisser do yesterday? I'm trying to think of things that he...
One header on target, but it was about as powerful as a gnat's fart.
Yeah. Jesus. I'll go with a 3. Billy?
Well, yeah, someone just said they touched the ball 9 times. And that doesn't just speak for Wisser, it speaks for the people around him not giving him the ball. But if you're not prepared to get yourself in the box where he's supposed to be to score goals, then why would they give you the ball?
Yeah.
I'll give him a 2.5.
2.5. Viewers, a 4.4. I think you're very, very lenient, viewers, on that one. Bloody hell. Peter says, do you think if it turns toxic, Eddie will walk? I mean, Peter's coming up with every possible solution. I mean, he's been Eddie out since before the bloody... I think Peter's been Eddie out before Eddie even got the job. And Ian Hardy's gifted a Toon Review membership as well. Thank you, Ian.
We've got a box of tissues there, Peter, after that result
Oh, God. Okay, Billy, Anthony Gordon.
Frustrating because he had the beat in the cash on the outside, but then he couldn't cross the ball in. The two best crosses he put in were when he come inside on his right foot. I agree with, I think it might be Toon Paul, who says him and Hall don't play well together. Gordon don't, it's not Hall's fault, it's Gordon won't give him the ball.
He ignores him so many times.
And he cuts inside. He can't keep being a bloody decoy. At some point, give it to bloody Hall. The two crosses were great though. The one for Miley and the one for Rissa were both good crosses.
Yeah.
I'll give him a 4.5.
4.5. I've gone a 4. I thought he put one really good cross in for, obviously, for the Miley header. The Wissa one, okay. But what else did he do? I mean, I've heard the Geordie Journos, they saying last night, he takes on the fullback Matty Cash a couple of times, gets the best of him, and then he stops doing it. Yeah.
It's not giving the ball. They keep the second half. He never gets the ball.
He doesn't. 4.7 for Gordon. Okay. Next up is Anthony Elanga. I mean, look, he looks like he's getting there. But how often are we going to say that? How many times do we have to say he's getting there? This is a 50-odd million pound footballer.
We'll keep saying it until he gets a game where he starts. We can only say that when he's playing 15 minutes a game.
Yeah, I thought he looked hungry. Don't get me wrong. I think he's looked really good, really hungry the last couple of games. I'll go with a 5. I'll just go straight down the middle. Billy?
Yeah, he needs a full game. I hope he starts against PSG. I think he might do, actually, because I think we'll go counter-attack, and I think he might start. I have a feeling. But I think it'll be Barnes that drops to the bench, if I'm perfectly honest. I think we'll go with the pace. And maybe Voltemada to kind of get close to Voltemada if we're attacking Hayes and use his strength. But, yeah, you can see he's hungry. He's that bit where he pushed the ball past the fullback and just slightly overhits it. Yeah, I think 5's fair.
Viewers have gone with a 5.5, so we're pretty much agreement there for Elanga. Next up, we have Nick Voltemada, Billy.
It's hard to score him because it's really hard to score him because I don't know how many times he touched the ball. But when he did, he was okay. But it's outside the area stuff when we need him in the box. I'll give him a 3.5.
I've gone for a 3. I just a couple of good touches to get away from people that were marking him. But apart from that, I mean, there was nothing, was there? It just absolutely nothing. So 3. Viewers have gone with a 4. So, yeah, pretty much on the same lines there. Next up, we have Joe Willock. Listen, I don't see the point of Joe Willock anymore. Okay, I mean, sometimes he comes on and he looks like he's going to do something. He wasn't. I mean, how many did he get? 15 minutes yesterday?
No, nowhere near that.
No, nowhere near. I'm not sure what he got, but he doesn't make any impact. And I just think Eddie throws him on just for the sake of making the substitution, to be honest, because there's nothing tactical in it.
88th minute, something like that. He had about 7 minutes.
2 for me, Billy.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying. He got a kick. He almost gave a penalty away, but he got a kick for his troubles there. And then a minute later, he was bombing down. So the effort was there, but I think, like you say, the days of Joe Willock are numbered at Newcastle United. I'll give him a 3 for the effort.
3. Viewers have gone with a 3.4. So again, pretty much along the lines of us. Next up, Billy, is Jacob Ramsey, finally.
Did nothing. He had the whole second half. I don't think he did anything. I'm just not seeing it with him. I'm just not seeing it with him at all. He's not a Joe Linton replacement because he hasn't got the physicality. He's not a Bruno replacement because he hasn't got the creativity. What does he do? Not a lot.
I mean, again, is Eddie getting the best out of him, though? Because he doesn't look... He's not playing the same position that he played at Villa.
No, he's not. He's not a midfield
Nowhere
player.
near.
He's probably a forward, a wide forward.
Yeah.
I'll give him a 4.
Yeah, 4. I've gone 4 as well for Ramsey, and the viewers 4.7 for Jacob Ramsey. Right, guys, get your ratings in for the manager out of 10. Let's see what the chat think of Eddie Howe's performance. Get in the chat with your scores out of 10 for the manager, Billy.
Well, he's totally outcoached, wasn't he? And I know it's hard to rotate, but you've got to do it. You can't keep playing the same players. Hence why Joe Linton's injured. Too many games after coming back from a nasty injury and doing it again. And as I said before, it's going to happen again with Botman soon. And he's not got a lot of choice, don't get me wrong. But the likes of Botman, Trippier, another one who's going to have to play every game. We're going to get injuries again. Eddie Howe yesterday was totally outclassed. Outcoached, not outclassed, but outcoached. I'll give him I don't know, 2.
Yeah, I've got 2 written down as well. There's lots of 0s and 1s and 2s. Johnny, I'd love you to explain this one in the chat, mate. 8 out of 10. Please do explain why you've given him 8 out of 10, Johnny. I would really love to know how on earth you've given him 8 out of 10.
Talking about 100.
Maybe. But obviously the viewers' man of the match is Lewis Miley with a 7. So well done to Miley. Not the first time he's won viewers' man of the match in this new player rating system. Buff says season could be over in a month, could be out of both cups, out of Europe and bottom half. And Adi says, if you want to really compound the misery, since Christmas, Tieno Barry is outscoring Whistler and Voldemort combined. And he was shite against us. Yeah, he is. He's outscoring them. I mean, at the end of the day,
great goal of Villa. Oh, it's a cracking goal against Villa.
I know. He didn't even look like a football player against us, let alone a striker.
Well, that's it, where he sliced it into the net, made out he meant it, celebrated and fall down, and then he got to still out anyway. It was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Absolutely hilarious. But he did. He looked like a cart horse, an absolute cart horse.
He did.
Right. Let's look at the poll, Billy. Eddie Howe in or out? What do you think?
Well, I think it'll be a big majority for out.
Big majority for out. 70% out.
I'm surprised, although it might be higher than that.
30% in. But there you go. That is. That is changing a lot now, isn't it? To when we first put the poll up, not a couple of months ago. Cass has sent in a super chat. Every time I go to games now, the atmosphere feels flat because we know exactly what we're getting. Play stale, wait till 60, 70 minutes, throw Joe Willock, Ramsey and Voldemort on and pray.
Fair enough.
It is. And you can't play that. Players keep coming out and saying, like Tonali did, stick with us, and all of this and get behind us. But I'm sorry, it goes both ways.
Well, we're going to sit behind them anyway, because that's what Newcastle fans do.
But
in fact, football fans generally don't go in the game hoping you lose. You're going to support your team until it starts going wrong. Then you get on the bats. But it's a two-way street, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've got to give you something to cheer for.
Absolutely. But you know what? Things aren't great. And if people want to sit there and say they are, then that's fine by them. But we will keep it real on the Toon Review. But that is it for tonight's show. We're back live again at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, where we will preview the Paris Saint-Germain game. And we'll take a look at how they've been playing, who may play against us, what our defence faces on Wednesday night. And then, of course, Wednesday night, we have full commentary of the game, PSG versus Newcastle United. We start at 7:30 with an 8 o'clock kickoff, so make sure you're there for that one as well. But that's it for now.
Well, Dan Kane's saying it. I'm saying they're not trying. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're not playing well enough. Simple
there's a difference. I have read out the poll, guys. Are you Ollie's saying, no, I haven't. I have read it out, guys. 70% said out. Okay? 70%. But there it is. That is the show tonight, folks. Some people might not agree with this show tonight and think, the Toon Review is bloody negative. No, we keep it real. We keep it real and honest on this channel. And I'm not blowing smoke up at anybody's ass. I don't care. No way am I going to sit here and say that everything's rosy, because it's sudden, isn't. When it is, we'll say it is, and we'll jump from the hills and praise them. But at the minute, I'm sorry, not happening. But thank you very much for all your contributions tonight, guys. Mods, you've been fantastic. And of course, thanks to Billy. And the biggest thanks to you guys for tuning in tonight. We will be back tomorrow, but don't forget to smash that like button for us. And of course, subscribe to the Toon Review YouTube channel. We will see you very soon. Good night.
Away the lads and lasses.
Come back and check out the breeze.